Welcome to this class for your hips to improve the circulation of the hips, the flexibility, the range of motion. So you'll need 2 blocks. If you don't have blocks, you can just use some books or something to lean on. You will need a bolster or a couch cushion with a blanket. And if you're really tight, something to sit up on. So a blanket or a cushion to sit up on. So even just in your cross-legged situation, just sitting up on a blanket if you find that you're slouching down. So take a comfortable seat and take a deep breath in through your nose. And exhale through your nose. Another deep breath in. And exhale. And this time inhale and just float your arms up. Exhale, release the arms down by the side. Inhale, reach your arms up. Lengthen through your waist. Exhale and lower. Adding a twist now, so inhale, reaching up. Exhale, left hand to right knee and gaze over your right shoulder. And I want you to inhale and lengthen through the spine here and exhale, twist. So there's an inhale, lengthening of the spine, and then an exhale, twist. See if you can feel that lengthening in your body, and then it should give you a little bit more movement in your twist. So below your navel is moving to the left and above is moving to the right. One more breath there. Good, and then inhale, come up, and let's go to the other side. Right hand to left knee. Lengthen, inhale, exhale. Remember, lengthen first on the inhale, exhale, twist. Good, and then back to center. All right, take a side stretch. So walk your right hand out to the right. Left arm comes up and over, maybe bending that right elbow. Anchor down through your left sit bone. Rotate the chest open, take a full breath here. If you'd like to drop the right ear to the right shoulder, you could get a little bit of a neck stretch in there. Deep breath. And then push off that right hand. Inhale, come up. And let's go to the other side. So the left hand drops down, right arm up and over. Anchor down through your right seat. Drop your left ear to the left shoulder if that feels good for you. And then slowly and gently take your time to come up. All right, take your hands to your knees now. And I want you to do a little wave-like motion with the spine. So I'm coming forward and up and back. It's almost like you imagine you're a dolphin diving under a wave. And then you look up. So down you go. And then up, just starting to move those shoulders. It should feel really good. Nice, smooth motion. Well done. All right, turning it long ways on your mat now, if you're not already. And take your knees are bent, take your hands under the knees. And we'll just do some cat-cows in this position. So inhale, exhale, rounding. So chin to chest when you round. Inhale, open the heart, open the lungs. Arch your back. And I'm just holding gently, but not with any force, but just holding behind the legs here, on the hamstrings. Inhale. Exhale, so it's an inhale, arching, exhale, round. you can use your hands here. Just lower down onto your back very slowly. Okay, on your back, take your left knee over the left ankle over the right knee, and very slowly drop the legs to the left. And I'm just taking my left hand onto the left knee here, right arm stretched out. Just start to soften here. Release into the hips, into the psoas muscle. Keep breathing deep into your belly here. Good, and then slowly bring the legs back to center. Hug that left knee in and maybe straighten the right leg. Drawing the left knee in, and then just, if you can, lift the right leg up and just activate your core muscles to lift your head and shoulders up. And then release down. Move your hands underneath the left thigh and just stretch your foot up. And then release. Okay, let's do the other side. Right ankle comes over left knee. And then very gently drop your legs to the right. Your gaze could go to the left or just looking straight up. Right hand to the right thigh. See how much you can soften here, soften into the glutes even. Soften into the hips. And relax the shoulders down onto the earth. Take another deep breath all the way into your belly. And then slowly take your time to come back to center. Release the legs and hug. Well, I'm doing the right, but if you did the left before, hug the left knee in. And then just for a moment, lift up your straight leg and lift your head up and look at the knee if it's not too strong. A little transition and release, and then straighten that leg, interlocking the hand behind the thigh. Just a little stretch out there. And gently release. Good. Hug both knees into the chest, rock side to side. And then maybe take your hands under the thighs again, behind the knees, and then you can rock a little forward and back. We're going to come up to sitting. So come up to sitting and take a moment with your hands behind you, lift up through the chest and just drop the knees from one side to the other. A little windshield wiper. Good. And then preparing to go a little bit deeper into the hips now. Come onto all fours. Make your way onto all fours. And we'll take a few cat-cows first, because we've done our cat-cows seated. Now we'll do our cat-cows on all fours. And when you do your cat-cow, see if you can really slow it down so you can articulate each vertebra. Just feeling it, bringing the energy into the spine. So it's an inhale, look up, open the heart, open the chest, and then an exhale, rounding. Good. And now from here, we're going to bring the right leg forward. So I'm going to do it from a down dog because I think that's easier, but you can always just do it from here. So if you want to do it from your down dog, you just push your hips up. I'm going to bring the right foot to the outside of the right hand. Now I'm going to drop the back knee. If your knees are tender, please place a blanket under that left knee. So this is quite a deep stretch, this twisted dragon. You're going to keep the right toe planted onto the earth, but the leg is kind of 45 degrees. You might just stay here and you get into that hip flexor of the left leg. Or if you can, and you want to go deeper, you can come down onto the forearms. So I'm going to hold it for about 2 minutes. So see how you feel, either staying up high or come down onto the forearms. You could also put a bolster or a block and come down onto that. So just finding that position that suits you. Make sure you're not sinking into the upper body and the arms. And just keep the breath, keep directing the breath into the hips, softening the hips. It's a very strong pose, so be easy on yourself and keep softening and breathing deeply. Good, and then very slowly when you're ready, think about pushing yourself up. Take a moment here. And then I'm going to walk this right foot across to the left side of the mat and drop the leg down. The left leg is coming parallel with my mat, so I'm in a deer pose. So the front right leg is at a right angle with the shin going across the short way of the mat. The left leg is at a right angle as well with the shin going along the long side of the mat. So this is deer pose. Now from here, that might be strong enough for you. What I'm going to do is take my blocks behind me and place them. I'll just move over a bit so you can see. I'm going to place the blocks behind me and I'm going to lie down on the blocks. So I'm going to place one in between my shoulder blades and one on my head. You could also use a bolster or you can just lie down. So they're the options. So either just sitting here or coming all the way back onto a support, onto the floor, onto a bolster. So just choosing your variation here. Getting more of this internal rotation now of the left hip. So I actually find this pose quite easy because I'm a little bit knock-kneed. So my legs naturally turn in a little bit. So everyone's different, and sometimes you find that point of where your bones just won't go, and that's why we use the props. Use the bolsters and the blanket to support your body because everybody's different. Your mind on the breath. Good, and to come up, bring your chin into your chest first, very slowly, and then think about how you're going to support yourself to come up. Once you come up, you can release the legs. Come back to center. Again, take a little windshield wiper before we come to the other side. Good, so when you're ready, coming into down dog, or come back to all fours, whichever one. I just think it feels nice sometimes to take a little stretch in down dog. And we'll find out flying dragon or twisted dragon on the other side. So the left leg comes to the outside of the left hand, supporting your knee with a blanket if you need to. Release the toes and finding your variation here. So release the right toes, I meant to say, along the floor, but your left toes are anchored onto the earth at a 45-degree angle, and then I'm coming down onto my forearms, or you can stay up, whichever one you prefer. Deep breaths into the hips. Softening to your belly, soften into the jaw and the shoulders. Good, and slowly take your time to think about pushing yourself up. Maybe heel toe that left leg across the mat, preparing for deer pose. So finding that right angle with the left leg, and then the right leg is parallel with the long edge of the mat. Take the support behind you if you'd like to lie back. Otherwise, just leaning back onto your hands. So finding your variation there. Take your time to come into it. There's no rush. Just lying back to where it is comfortable for you as you open up, or feel the open up the left leg. You're feeling the internal rotation through the right leg now. And maybe getting this extra opening in the shoulders too. So your torso is kind of at a diagonal here. Good, and to come up very slowly, chin to chest, using your hands to push the floor away. Just take your time, remembering to move very slowly. Release your legs. And again, you can take that windshield wiper, but this time drop the knees to the right and bring your left arm around, lift up through your chest. If you want to add a little bit of motion with that left arm, you could always do a few little arm circles here. Bring into the shoulders. And then take your time other side, so the legs drop to the left. Right arm comes around to support you. Lift up through the chest, take a breath. And then maybe getting that range of motion with the right shoulder as well. Good, and release back to center. Bring the soles of your feet to touch now. And I'm just going to trigger grip around my big toes. And see if you can stretch the right leg out. The knee doesn't have to be straight, just taking a little stretch there. It's a half bear pose, and then the other leg goes out. Just playing around there, finding your balance, and then maybe both legs can go out. Knees may be bent, it's okay if you fall. And then coming back, soles of the feet to touch. And we're going to come down onto our backs here. So lying back in your Supta Baddha Konasana. So the arms are going to come over the head. You can lie on a bolster here too if you feel like you need a little bit of height. So coming back into that pose, you might come into it with your legs parallel if it's too much to come down. The knees falling out like butterfly wings. If you'd like to support your thighs with blocks, that's another option. It sometimes just allows you to go a little bit deeper using the props. Arms above the head, lengthen through the spine and the torso. Take a deep breath into the belly. And release, let go. It's a beautiful pose for opening up the whole body. Very receptive. Well done. And then slowly release your arms, manually bring the legs together, roll over to your right side and just help yourself up with your left arm. So come up and take your legs wide. We're going to come into a nice, well, again, a hip stretch, but also you're going to get into the lower back. So if you would like to sit on a blanket, sit on a blanket here. I'm going to use a block, but you don't have to have a block. You can just use your arm. So sliding your arm, actually, I think it is better without a block. Sliding your arm beside that right knee, bring the left arm up and over. Keep your left sit bone anchored into the earth. Maybe bend that left elbow to rest it on the head so it's not sort of hanging there. Take a deep breath and open up all of the tissues in the side body from the left ribs down to the left hip, getting into the intercostal muscles. Take a breath into the side body, filling up the whole left side of the body. Keep taking those deep breaths, filling up the left side of the ribs, expanding the diaphragm with your breath. Good, and then turning that right hand down, pushing the floor away from you to come up. Take a breath at center. Just notice the rebound effect on the left side of the body. Just notice the difference between the two sides of the body. And then when you're ready, we'll go to the other side. So the left arm comes down beside you, right arm comes up, maybe bending it and resting it on the head as you soften down, but ensure that the right sit bone, you want to keep that right sit bone anchored. You don't want that to lift up. Opening up the tissues now on the right side of the body, between the ribs and the hips. Good, and very gently push the floor away to come up. Take a deep breath. Allow yourself to feel the sensations. And then slide the hands under the knees. Bring your soles of the feet to touch again, but this time we're going to do a seated butterfly pose. So it's a loose butterfly. Feet out in front. Maybe placing a bolster onto the legs if you'd like to. Maybe sliding the hands underneath. So it's all an invitation, just doing whatever feels good for you. Chin comes down to the chest. And just allow yourself to settle forward. Relaxing the back of the spine and just feeling the breath as like a massage coming down the back. Inhale. Just softly soothing the back.
Making that inquiry of where you can let go a little bit more. Where can you soften a little bit more?
Good, and very slowly, take your time. Turn your palms around and just push the floor away from you as you come up. Take a deep breath and then hug your knees in. Lift your legs up, maybe make some circles with your ankles. I'm going to come into a beautiful stretch now for the hip flexors and the psoas muscle. So you will need your bolster or cushion for this one. You can do it without it, but it just gives that extra layer of something. An extra layer of luxury, I think, having the bolster under your sacrum. So lying on your backs, and I'm going to lift my hips up and slide that bolster under the sacrum. So as I said, you can do it without it if you don't have anything, but it just really feels good to have that bolster there. And take a moment just to allow yourself to soften into the floor or the bolster here. The knees are bent. And then when you're ready, you're going to hug the right knee in to the chest and straighten that left leg out. We're just going to hold that. So that psoas muscle is that muscle that connects the spine and the legs, and we hold a lot of tension there. It's often associated with the fight-flight response. And so it feels really good to relax that muscle. Keep taking deep breaths into the belly, really softening through the belly. You might want to let it exhale out of the mouth. Just let it out if you need to. Well done. And then slowly release that right leg down to the floor. Bend the left knee in and hug the left knee. Take your time to transition and then straighten the right leg out if you can, if that works for you. Getting that extra depth into the stretch. Well done. And gently release that leg. Maybe hug both legs in for a moment. And if you feel supported under your sacrum, you can take your legs up to the sky and just take a minute here in a waterfall pose, just feeling the reverse of circulation of energy. The blood flows reversing, the head's below the heart. So beneficial to get this nice inversion in at the end of the class. Good, well done. And then coming down, finding your way into your final resting pose, Shavasana, maybe with the bolster under the knees to support the lower back. Palms turned up, and if you'd like an eye mask placed over your eyes and you've got one handy, you can do that. Make sure that you're warm. And just closing your eyes, just allowing everything to integrate for the final few minutes. And gently deepen the breath. Bring your awareness back into your body. Maybe move the fingers and the toes, taking a stretch. Hug your knees in, little rock side to side here. Rolling over and coming up when you're ready. Give your legs a rub. Take a deep inhale, float the arms above the head, gathering strength and energy for the rest of the day. Exhale, hands to the heart space. And let's seal the practice with a primordial Om. Inhale. Om. And surrender to the grace of the universe. Namaste.